Alrighty, the Mother Duck. More Blitz's ship. A galleon, very heavily armored. We have a Hawacha, a lumberjack, a heavy carronade, a twin carronade, and a flat cannon. Fun for the whole family. Now, the lumberjack and flat cannon, yeah, I've confirmed those are the 2 and 4 positions on the screens right now. That's a big deal. That's actually a very big deal because they're on the same side. Now, you're wondering, why is this a big deal, Dan? You have 2 long-range, very heavy firepower ships on the exact same side, usually pointing the exact same direction, that all of a sudden can not only strip a ship, but obliterate its permahull as soon as that outer hull comes down. Typhon heavy flat cannon is amazing. It is a powerhouse when it comes to destroying that permahull. And oh my goodness, that lumberjack. You can pick someone apart from miles away with that thing. Sudden name change. Uh-oh. Wait, hold on a sec here. Sudden name change. What's sudden name change? Redria says sudden name change. Overwatch. He's changed his ship name to Duck. Oh dear. On the other side of the Mother Duck there, we have, of course, the twin heavy carronade and the Hawacha. That's going to be great for obliterating a ship at close range, but at that point, it is a little risky to get in that close range for a ship that's going to be really slow, like the Galleon. You also have, of course, the Hades and the flare gun. That beacon flare gun is going to be very important to making sure they can spot their opponents far enough away to make good use of that mortar and flat cannon. Moving on to the other Duck ship, the Chris Quackles, piloted by Sasquatch. Another very long-range ship. A Spire this time. Another Lumberjack. Another Hades. An Artemis. And a second Artemis. The Artemi are in the 4 and 3 spots, so they're going to be able to provide that heavy long-range support that Aspire definitely needs. Aspire has a lot of firepower pointed in a very specific direction. But its armor is not one of its strong points by any stretch of the imagination. Also, if you get in behind a Spire, at that point, you start to have very big problems. Major problems when it comes to actually being able to deal with your opponent. Unless you can spin your ship around and get all those forward-facing guns facing your opponent, you're going to be in a little bit of a hard spot. That's going to be difficult. Looking up at the Duck, a Pyramidion piloted by Redria, you have an Artemis. The front is going to be the Gap Mortar, classic meta. And then the 3 spot is a Dragon Tongue light flamethrower. Not a lot to say about this. This is a proven, tried and true effective meta. But, here's a big but, it is going to be a little difficult for them to actually be able to get into range and use that Gap Mortar to its full effectiveness. They're going up against 2 long-range ships in the Chris Quackles and the Mother Duck. The question is going to be if the Pyramidion can get in close and actually be effective at that close range, or if they're just going to get obliterated before they're even there. Joining the game now, or at least attempting to. There we go. Canyon Ambush. This one can be either incredibly drawn out, over the clock kind of time, or we're going to get a very fast-paced, up-close, kind of action-oriented fight. With the setup that Cake and Overwatch has, I think we might have the latter. The last ship we didn't get to preview before the matchup is the Hunt, piloted by Xander Broda. We have a Dragon Tongue, 2 Dragon Tongues, and a Hellhound heavy twin carronade on the front. It is a shoddy fish. Very risk reward for this kind of ship setup. I really do hope they understand they're going up against some long range opponents. Cake and Overwatch need to be sneaky. They need to be able to use the cloud cover and the canyons to their distinct advantage, because if they try to move in quickly or move in without cover, they're going to get ripped to shreds. You're going up against 2 lumberjacks. You're going up against a heavy flat cannon. You're going up against 2 Hades. All that stuff just flying at you. It's not going to be a good day. Especially if you do not understand that you just can't charge at him. It's just not going to work. Checking the map here. Oh dear, we having a little freezing. There we go. Blue team is set up at this more open area, although cloud cover is touch and go to a certain extent. Checking on the red team here, looks like they have entered formation as well. Try and find them over here. There they are. They definitely need to make sure they're trying to keep in cover, because if they fly too high, yeah, they're nearly in spot distance if that spire rose up just a bit more. A very risky scenario right now for the red team. Thank you everyone for joining us on twitch.tv/therobindansher, by the way. Appreciate the live audience. This is also for recording purposes. These teams love to have recordings of their matches and scrimmages. And, you know, they asked us to do it live as well, so this is going to be a ton of fun, I think. Red team is moving in behind this heavy, thick cloud cover, but lo and behold, they might be spotted. Oh no, that cloud cover is actually incredibly thick and effective. Yeah, there is no way the blue team is going to sight them just yet. That galleon is pointed directly at them. Now, we could just see him barely over that mesa. Oh, the hunt took a little bit of a bump there. That goldfish took a little bit of a bump there. Lost about half its outer hull. They're sitting right over here. Now the question is, are they going to stay here? Are they going to just sit here? Or are they going to try to go on the offensive? Now, keep in mind, the blue team ship, the duck ships, extremely effective long range. The cake and Overwatch ships, extremely effective close range. We have a shoddy fish and a standard meta pyramidion, Gat mortar. So the question then comes up, how do you deal with this? How do you get in close without being torn to shreds? That goldfish could be spotted right now. It looks like... Yes, it looks like the spire has seen the butt end of that goldfish. And the ducks are turning to face them. We are going to see our first conflict. Hunt has been spotted. Lumberjack shots are going out. Artemis shots going out as well against the Hunt. Balloon is taking a lot of heavy fire. Its outer hull is going down. They're trying to close the distance very quick. Their balloon is nearly down as well. Their perma-hull is taking some serious damage. They've lost engines. They've lost some of their guns. They are not going to be operational here. But the Pyramidion, the duck, is closing in on the Chris Crackles. It is taking a big chunk out of it, but it's now going below the ship. And the Chris Crackles is going to have a few moments to get things back together. Too much damage coming out of those duck ships. Very dangerous for those short-range Overwatch and cake ships. Especially the Hunt, which is now in a very bad position. It's taking a lot. There it goes! It wasn't going to be long for this world anyhow, especially just sitting out there. It had no engines. It was done for. Duck is swinging around here, and this is going to be the death bells for it. All said and done. Very effective use of firepower, especially when they weren't necessarily at the most advantageous position by the ducks. Chris Quackles, though, has lost a chunk, a big chunk of its perma-hull. Engineers need to get on that right away, get them back up to full speed, so we can see the next confrontation. Of course, if they're not ready, you know, could be a big problem. And a problem that is going to linger too is the fact that the Chris Quackles cannot get its perma-hull back. There is no way to repair the perma-hull. Let's see how they set up here. Ducks know which end that they're going to spawn at. Whether that was predetermined or not, I am not sure. Overwatch and Cake are going to move forward slowly here from the looks of it. Try to stay in cover a little better this time. They definitely peeked their headouts a little bit too early. And although they had a nice surprise attack going, they lost that as soon as that goldfish was spotted. All of a sudden, the Spire turned, knew exactly where they were. They were able to bring those heavy guns to bear. Both Artemis, the... Oh, wow, we have a spot on the goldfish already. The Chris Quackles is moving in along with the galleon. Overwatch knows that they need to get into range as quickly as possible, and they're going to lose this encounter. The Duck is already taking a ton of damage. Try to get a spot on the scenario here. Oh, the cloud cover is making this extremely difficult. We can see the Overwatch ships now right in front of us. The Goldfish is peeking its head out once again. It's going to try and charge on the Spire, it looks like, as is the Duck. They're going to try and move straight on it, but the Hunt and the Duck are both taking a lot of damage. The Pyramid is coming out from the clouds. It has not been badly damaged at all. It's putting a lot of firepower on the Chris Quackles. The Chris Quackles permahull is exposed. They're going for a ram, and it is successful. That was mentioned in the pre-show interview with the Overwatch captain. He enjoys using the ram ability on the Pyramidion, although it technically has received a small nerf in the recent months. Very effective there. Pinned him up right against the wall, did enough damage to obliterate what was left of that permahull. The Goldfish is now getting out of town, or at least getting out of the range of fire as fast as possible. The Duck is closing the range, although they were on the wrong side. That is the short-range side of that galleon. They're going to be taking a ton of fire just to try and do anything. The Chris Quackles is coming back into the fight as well, getting some fire on that. Oh my god, the Pyramidion gets taken out very quickly. So we scoot back down here. Goldfish is trying to do something against that Mother Duck, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. That Goldfish does not have enough firepower to finish that ship off. They need to get out of here now. They've lost a lot of their structure. They're nearly dead. Engines are doing their best to pull, but oh, that's just not fast enough. And they get taken out 4-1 in favor of the Ducks. That's hard. That's really hard to deal with. Pyramidion is just barreling forward. Took a nasty shot off those rocks there. Not sure why he's continuing forward either. Maybe he's thinking, you know what, we've kind of lost this one at this point. We played wrong. We had a couple mistakes made, but let's just do it again. But no, he's turning around. Okay, they aren't throwing in the towel yet. They're not giving up the fight. Comment from the chat right now. Apparently, spawns have been predetermined in this matchup, in opposition to the current spawning system that Muse has in place. We'll go here and check out exactly what's going on with the Ducks. That Spire has risen up over the clouds for the most part. It looks like they're going to use the Spire to try and get a spot on anything that might be coming at them before it comes in, while the Galleon sits low and prepares to respond to whatever is going to happen. Interesting matchup so far. Again, very effective use of that heavy firepower that the Duck ship have. Both ships are well equipped. Oh, a very nice flare. And a spot goes down on the Goldfish. The Hunt is taking a lot of damage. A lot of damage. The Duck is coming into range, however, trying to close the gap between the Spire and itself, but it's just getting ripped to shreds. Chris Quackles has backed up against that mesa, but that's it. That distance is more than enough to finish that match out. Congratulations to the Ducks, they win, as you can see them on my screen right now. We're going to be going to the next matchup in this. Again, the Ducks win this first matchup. Sasquatch and Morbitz gets the win. Their first time ever flying together in a competitive environment. Cake is captaining the Hunt, by the way, and the Duck is being captained by Overwatch.